Hey everybody, I'm Mike with Local Impact. I'm here chatting with Claude Singelton from Bray Oakley. Claude, if you don't mind, just take a second and explain to the people who Bray Oakley is, what they do, and what they offer.
Very good. Bray Oakley Insurance Agency is an independent insurance agency. Independent means that we work with several companies. We don't have one company that we have to stick with. And we're a multi-line company, which means we do all different kinds of insurance: auto, home, life insurance, business insurance. And so there's a lot of things that we do for people, and we can pick out different companies depending upon your need. It's a wonderful thing. We have 3 offices in West Virginia and 3 offices in Kentucky, and we've been around since 1920. And it's a wonderful family-owned business that's passed on through 4 generations. It's a good place to be.
Great, great. We've got a lot of people that are starting to ask questions about ATV insurance. Can you just take some time and talk about, maybe define what an ATV actually is for the people?
Sure, be glad to. Thanks, Mike. ATV means all-terrain vehicle, and it's basically an off-the-road vehicle for fun. It can be often it can be a 3-wheeler or a 4-wheeler, different things. And we will insure that for someone based on their need. You don't have to insure it necessarily, but we like to insure things if they've got value to them. Let's just say you bought it at your local dealer and there's a pretty good price tag. You're still paying money on it.
Yeah.
You better insure it. You've got the physical damages for if you have comprehensive and collision, there's physical damages to that vehicle. And you can also have a liability. And there's a thing for injuries on that vehicle as well. So this ATV can be a lot of fun, but it can be a significant responsibility and a risk. And we will help you to work with that risk based on what you need and what you want.
Awesome. So I know you mentioned things like, still owing, still paying off on your ATV. Is it required that I have insurance on my ATV?
Your bank would require that you would need to have physical damages coverage. That would be comprehensive. Comprehensive would be like fire, theft, striking an animal, or tree falls on it, or acts of nature.
Sure.
Hitting that vehicle and tearing it up. And the other would be collision, where you run into something, run into a hill or a tree or another bike or something.
Sure.
That could be a problem. This is off-roading, but there's still a liability there's still a risk of what you could be doing.
Great. Awesome. So will my car insurance cover my ATV?
That's a good question. Many companies will allow us to put an ATV on a car policy, and we will visit about that and see if this is the best way to do it. We will also look at a separate ATV policy. We've got different companies who will actually just do that kind of policy. And it is not on the road, it is off-road, but they have specific policies that we can see about. We'll look at benefits and coverages, what fits your circumstance. And we recommend that medical items also be covered. We will recommend that, although you may be able to opt out of that. We do recommend, because things happen. You're having
Sure.
fun, things happen.
Sure. That was my next question is if I know they're dangerous, I see things on the news all the time, what's covered in medical expenses and things like that if I were to buy one and get hurt?
Yes, that's a problem. And also they can be social vehicles, if you will. You've got a couple of guys with you and you're riding together, and it turns out one of them does not have insurance. You didn't know that. There's a way of having medical payments, injuries for his sake or her sake, covered by your policy. And it's not much money at all. So I do think no matter what kind of health insurance you may have, it's better to have the medical protection on this as well, medical payments on this as well. And It's inexpensive. It's a good thing to do.
Sure. So what are the different types of ATV coverage that you can get?
Okay. First would be liability, where you're actually injuring someone else, not on your vehicle. You're injuring someone else, either their person, their body, or their property. And if you don't have that liability coverage, it's out of your pocket. If you opted to say, well, no, I don't need coverage for that stuff, I'll just ride and have fun. I'll just be real careful. You injure someone else, it is your problem, and they will come after you. And I'm not an attorney, don't pretend to be one. I'm just an insurance agent, but this is good insurance advice.
Sure.
Also, that's the liability for injuring someone else. We've also got protection for the vehicle itself if you choose it. You can have comprehensive coverage and collision coverage, and we'll tell you all what those are. But that is if there's physical damages to that vehicle, then we can help you with repairing that. And then the medical payments, which I mentioned a minute ago, medical payments would be injuries to people on your vehicle that happened because of riding on this vehicle. That's a big deal. So all those different things affect in different ways. You may not need comprehensive collision. That is, you say, it's an old one, I don't owe any money on it, I'll just take my chances on that. But you would still want to have the liability and the medical payments. You'd still want to have that.
Great, great. So what is it relatively expensive to insure my ATV? Is it, can you share on that for a second?
Sure can. I can't give exact numbers because it depends
Sure.
on actually, what county you live in even, but in general, the cost is higher if you've got a higher value vehicle, a newer vehicle that's significant. And I've seen some that are amazing. Well, that's a higher price. It's a fair price, but it's a higher price. And as it gets older or a smaller model, there's less premium for the comprehensive and collision on that. So, but we'll talk about that as well. We can just cover through and look at adding this to your auto policy, or do we write a separate one? And that's part of the factor of that is cost.
Sure. Is there anything else ATV wise that you would share with someone who owns one currently or is thinking about getting one? Just anything?
Well, it's just advice. And again, I think like an insurance guy. I've been an insurance guy for quite a while. And that is, don't loan it out to somebody who didn't know what they're doing. And we always say, don't loan them out at all, but be careful. There's different capabilities with people, and you might have a very good friend who has no knowledge about what he's doing or what she's doing and unfamiliar with the terrain and all that stuff. So be careful, be nice, be careful, and protect what you have. And you're better off for doing that.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Claude, I think that wraps up for ATV questions. Do you want to say anything, how to reach out to your company, where they can find you all?
Very good. You can probably see listed here our number. We're in West Virginia, we're in Kentucky. Give us a call. Each of our offices work very well. And you can ask for me if you like, but you don't need to talk with me because we've got very fine customer service people here and just excellent people to work with. But give us a call. Bray Oakley, we like to help people.
Great, great. Claude, thanks for talking to us about ATVs today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes, sir.